Interview with my friend Hein here, who's coming along next weekend on our open day, and he also is running some workshops. So I thought it'd be good to have him in to interview him and pick his brains about actually what he does. He's actually been a great help to us as therapists. And one of the things that I've done is invited him in to run our workshop to help us therapists and people like you out there who are having problems with, how could you say, Heinz, challenging situations with children.
Confrontations.
So Heinz, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Hein, and I'm from the Netherlands. I moved to Scotland 32 years ago, and I've been living ever since in Scotland. I started off as a psychiatric nurse in the Netherlands. Then I moved to Scotland and worked with homeless people. And from there, I went to university, did a course in linguistics and communication. Then I got a job at Peterhead Prison, and I became a lecturer in language and communication. And then, after doing that for 2 years, I went. I changed direction. And I started to work with young people and for the education sector, first at Aberdeenshire and later at Murray. From there onwards, I started developing courses and programs for young children who, for one reason or another, just fell through the net a little and needed some extra attention and support.
And what I love about yourself, Heinz, is your kind of the way that you talk, your holistic approach to things. Is because a lot of our clients come in and they don't feel they're getting supported, and I think that's one of the reasons we were drawn to you, and the support that you can give to parents and caregivers, and that's why we're running the course. How did you get into the kind of the, how do you say it? I don't know if you call yourself the kids' life coach sort of thing. How did you get into that and experience in the Murray area as well? And I know you enjoy helping people as well.
Well, I think sometimes in life things find you. Mm-hmm. And when I was young, I never said I want to work with young children or with young people, as we say, with young people who need support or who need mentorship or who need a different approach. And that was never my ambition when I was young. As everybody else, I wanted to be a professional football player or the best cyclist in the world. But realizing that was never going to materialize, I started to look at other career options. And I went into psychiatric nursing, and I did that in the Netherlands and worked in psychiatric hospitals. And that is where I started to learn and to understand. And I was very young at that time. But I started to learn and understand and see other sides of life. And I think that shaped me. And when I met my wife, I moved to Scotland. That is where I started to work with homeless people and see things from a different perspective again. And after having done that for 3 or 4 years, I wanted to explore the more academic side in me, and I went to study, and I studied languages because when I was at school, I was always reasonably good at languages, so there was something that suited me, and I did communications with it. And then I started, once I finished that, and I got a job in Peterhead Prison, that taught me again a different type of life, and I got different influences. And after doing that for 2 years, I wanted to do something different, and then I started to work with young people, especially in sports development. And that again gave me another view of how social relationships worked. By that time, I'd seen like lots of different environments, a lot of different people, and in a way that allowed me to become non-judgmental and to start people for who they are. And a person is not just a person what you see or who you see, but what you see is you see a whole, how to say it, there is a whole history behind that, and there is influences there that you don't see immediately, and it takes time to see that and to develop that. And as you're getting older, that's my experience, and I think that's maybe, Derek, where you come to, how did I get into that, is putting all the knowledge, experiences that I've had in the past to put that together. And I think for me, that was setting up my own business and start working with children that needed extra attention. And what I do with those kids is I set up programs for them. I work on self-esteem. I work on building up confidence. I work with parents, and the kids that I work with, they're not the easiest kids. A lot of them are neurodiverse. Some of them are not. But in my opinion, it doesn't really matter what they are, because it's a child. And I think one of the worst things that you can do is to start labeling a child. Because if you start labeling a child...
That's the way to say it, is when I first met you, is you don't like labeling, you don't like the names, like you don't even like the ADHD or this, that, the next thing.
No, I don't like that.
You take a totally different approach, and that's why I'm encouraging in this workshop to our clients and people out there, because you do take a very holistic approach and approach that we would normally take, but you've got that expertise in your areas. And I love some of the stories that you've told us from, at the Elgin Speakers Club, because that's where we met, in the Elgin Speakers Club. So it's a great club to come along to anyway. But when Heinz did his introduction speech about what he did, we were all sat there in awe at some of the experiences that Heinz had, and how he uses humour, how he uses sport to connect with kids, and his perseverance. And that's why you've probably called your course as Managing Expectations, Heinz, isn't it?
It's Managing Expectations, yeah. Managing expectations, it is the expectations that we as parents have, or as adults have, but children have expectations as well.
Yeah.
And it is how you meet those expectations, but also how you manage them, how you look at them, and how you understand them.
Yeah.
And it is how to step out of your own mindset and get into the mindset of another, or how to deal with aggression, or how to deal with conflict, or how to put in strategies, or how to be prepared and plan ahead of the confrontations, because I believe that a lot of confrontations can be avoided. I speak a lot with parents, and especially when things goes belly up, and when there are meltdowns and periods of aggression, and then I also hear the parent story, and the parents were saying, "Hein, this and this and this and this and this and this happened," and then I'm listening, and then they say, "I want you to," and then my alarm bells start ringing, because then they say, "I want you to start working on this. I want you to start working on that. I want you to start working on this." So I need to start to work on their expectations.
Yeah.
But when I listen to the child comes to me and they say, "Oh, you've been talking to my mom and she has been telling and this," and I said, and I would say, "Listen, I've heard what your mom said. Sometimes I've heard what the social worker said. I've heard what the school said, but I haven't heard what you said.
Yeah.
I don't want to repeat what they all said, but what I want to hear is I want to hear your version."
Yeah.
And then often I get a different view. And maybe some people say, "Oh, it's a child's view," or "it is this view." Yeah. But that is not necessarily true. And this is just an example of how conflict situations arise and how a crisis starts. And what I want to achieve in my course and in my workshop is that people start to think about how can we avoid conflict, uh, how how can I reflect, and how can I understand, how can I give advice, how can I talk, do I listen, do I really listen, or do I just want to, or do I just want to tell me I'm the boss here and I'm telling you what is happening. So that is the things that I'm trying to address in my workshop. And
I'll just put up the workshop just now. It's coming up with the dates, and you'll see we've designed it. It's on a Wednesday night, so people who are working can come on a Wednesday night, and also if they're off on a Saturday, they can come along. So it's the 26th of June and the 29th of June, and also he'll be along at our workshop, which we've got a open day next week, and Hein will be the first speaker on between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Speaking about up and coming workshops. It's a good chance to get to know him, interview him yourself, and have a cup of coffee with him, and come along and see what else is on at Silver Treat as well. And but the main thing is managing the expectations, and I think that's what the main theme of all this and what you do, Heinz, is the managing expectations that very often we have. And I've been a single parent and I've had challenges with my own kids. It's knowing what to do next, and somebody end up screaming and shouting at them when really that's not. It's just our learned behaviour, I think, in the way that our parents taught us to be parents. And there's no real right and wrong, but when you look at the methods that you use, it's learning from that and learning new tools and expectations, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think it's also being in control of your emotions, and not only being in control of your emotions, but also how you express your emotions.
Yeah.
And I think that is very important. And young people, they're very sensitive to that. Yeah. It's very difficult you can tell a young person wants something and don't do it, and you can tell them twice, but the third time you've lost them.
Yeah.
And it's the consistency in your behavior, in your attitude and your expression that gives a child stability. And whether you're wrong or right, that is not really important. But in my opinion, what is important is that you're consistent with your emotions, that you do as you say, that if you promise something, that you need to follow through. If you make an agreement, you need to follow through. So for instance, if you don't want a child to swear in a house, then don't swear yourself as a parent. That's just a very simple example. If I start effing and whatever away, and then I hear my son or I hear another child swearing, and I'm saying stop swearing, that's really bad, then the child will look at me. If it is so bad, why are you doing it? And it's quite often that they say, oh, his language is terrible. But then the next thing, when I'm speaking to them, they're swearing themselves. And then I think, well, if you're swearing in front of me, then you're swearing in front of your children as well. So it is, being aware of that. So yeah, and I'm quite an open mind, if you think it's okay to swear, then allow your child to swear as well.
Yeah.
If you think it's okay not to swear, then don't swear yourself. And that's just a very simple example.
I think, we've all got different expectations, and it's so enlightening to hear your different approach and your individual approach, which is unique. And I think it's something that's needed in the holistic field. And we often get parents coming in, and that's why we invited you in for a chat, that are kind of at their wits' end, don't know how to deal with the children. They're having problems with the schools. The schools have problems to understand. They might have a really good parent, but the schools don't understand, and that's where you come in as well. And I think one of the things that we'll get out of the workshops and your chat next week is a better understanding of probably the whole the whole picture, as we say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm really impressed. Well, I'll leave that just now, folks. And please, come along next weekend on Saturday at 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. That Heinz is here, and look at the workshops. If you want more information, Heinz website, or get in touch with the man himself. And for payment for the workshop, is just let us know you're coming. You can sort it out on the evenings or the days. It's all about getting information and learning from Hein's experience and the tools he's going to give us. Whether you're a therapist, a parent, or somebody who works in that field, I highly recommend that you come along to the workshops or the chat. And we've learned so much. He's been a great help to our clients over the last few weeks that we've got to know him. And we're based at Soul Retreat. It's 7 Main Road in Elgin, just along from the Mansfield Hotel. It's quite central. We've got a car park, so first things, next weekend, if you're around between 10 and 11, pop in. And if not, you get the Saturday 29th and the 26th, the Wednesday night. So get in touch, and if you have more information, I'm sure Heinz will help you. Have you got any last words, Heinz, if people are getting problems with kids this weekend?
I've got problems with kids. Well, just chill out. Take them to the beach, go for a walk. Find 855 stones and throw 849 into the sea, and just leave one aside and say, we use this one next week.
Fantastic. So look, thanks a lot, Heinz. It's been a pleasure to interview you. I look forward to seeing you next weekend and in the weeks to come.